Good morning. Morning, everyone. So, welcome to our last topic of the Therapeutic Community Modality Program Manual. So, we are now on the vocational or survival skills in the manual, in the centralized manual. So, let us tackle this in uh, as we go along with the presentation. Introduction. The development The development of vocational and survival skills starts at the beginning of the performance and job functions in the TC community, which has substantial value to the individual. So, it's a form of rehabilitative program by the BGMP. Those inmates or PDLs are being assigned with a certain job functions, whether they will be cleaning the ground, whether they are in charge in the kitchen, in the laundry area. So nga na, those are uh, different job functions that is done by the PDL from day-to-day activities. Okay, but those job functions, ila pud nang or tan-awon pud na sa staff whether that person is credible to perform such function. Diba? When you say TC community or one if the jail facility is implementing a therapeutic community program, as what I've said, there is a lack of security. But they limit only uh, on the morning meeting. Okay, so those are the chance that there will be a lack of security kanang morning meeting kay mugawas magyud mo sa facility, so adto mo magtapok sa isa ka certain area. But in a job function or in a certain job function, those are the PDLs that are already kanang gitawag na to og trustees. They are the trustees that or kanang mga trustees, like for example 1 year na lang nga mogawas sila sa facility and they walay mga bullying sa ilang record while nagstay sila sa facility, so they can be considered as trustees. Okay? So its aim is not only to detain or confine residents, but also to challenge them to learn vocational skills for their re-entry to the community. So another vocational and survival skills is that the TCMP is also implementing skills training to the PDL, whether what hobbies or what passion would they want to engage into. Nga na. So that is the aim is to rehabilitate the PDL at the same time teaching them skills or livelihood survival skills that when the time they are reintegrated back to the society, they can be a productive citizen and they are independent. Okay? So vocational rehabilitation helps the individual to become less dependent, adapt himself, and become more independent by making positive changes. So this vocational and survival skills training or this aspect in the rehabilitation program, this breaks the stigma of those ex-convicts. When you say ex-convicts, it's either they have already served their sentence inside the jail facility. So in order to break that stigma, as a form of rehabilitation program, they are being taught with livelihood skills training in order for them to not be idle when they are integrated back in the society. Instead, they are productive citizens. So these are the different topics that we are going to tackle as we go along with this presentation. We have the TC hierarchical structure, job changes, what are the different job functions, and the different staff functions. So let's go with the skills and attitude development. So how will a certain skill develops his attitude. Okay? So thinking plus feeling equals behavior. Thinking plus feeling plus behavior equals attitude. So those are the formulas ko no sa under sa vocational and survival skills. So an attitude is a set of feelings, thoughts, and disposition. Attitudes determine how one will act. Attitude stems from the way one thinks, feels, and behaves. The ideas formed from one's thinking will be translated into feelings. Thinking coupled with feelings will determine the reaction of an individual to certain situations. The person's attitude will shape his ability to learn and absorb all the teachings inside the program. So the person's attitude will shape his ability, whether he has the attitude to uh really change his kanang mga bad behavior while he is in the community or kanabang nagbasol na siya sa yahang sala nga nabuhat, so that if the person has the willingness to change certain behavior, so he has the person's attitude will shape his ability to learn and absorb all the teachings inside the program. So that also helps the uh, member of the TC or a member of the therapeutic community facility. So thinking coupled with feelings will determine the reaction of an individual to certain uh, situations. So if thinking na siya, unya wala siya murabag ka nang gitawag og pagsinati sa sa imuhang gihuna-huna. So wala ra gihapon. So that those are thinking plus feeling will determine the reaction of an individual to certain situations. Okay? So it will design his willingness to take on responsibilities and develop oneself. An individual's attitudes is irrelevant to his development in the area of vocation and occupation. So if the person has the attitude that he is willing to learn, he is willing to learn new skill, ingana. So that will reflect or relevant on the on the area of vocation and occupation. It speaks of his adaptability and flexibility to the different tasks and functions. It will predetermine how he will later on perform in the hierarchical ladder. The development of skills is inseparable with the other components of TC, as each component plays a vital part in the shaping of one's attitude. Yes, this part on this vocational or the development of skills is at par, or when you say this is or the four aspects or the four components of the TCMP program plays a unique role in shaping one's attitude by the individual. Okay, so dili na siya ingon nga isa-isa ka program parehara na sa tanan ma-develop or ma-shape gid ang attitude sa isa ka tawo. No, lahi-lahi na siya. Lahi na siya og target. Okay, so the target of the development of skills is that you are to become an independent and productive citizen when you are reintegrated back to the society with the willingness to shape your behavior, the willingness to learn. So magdepende na siya. If naa ba kay gitawag na tuog willingness. So if you have that willingness to learn, then you will be or you are able to adapt and be flexible on the task and functions, especially if you are part or in the hierarchical ladder. Okay? So what are the organizational hierarchy of therapeutic community? So objectives: to create an organized structure and an efficient system of program implementation. So when you say organized structure, so there is a hierarchy, organized, kabalo ka kinsa kung asa ka mo report, kabalo ka kinsa imong department head, ingana. There is an efficient program implementation. So dili magkagubot, centralized lang. Gikan nga information ni director ipasa sa department head, anang department head na po'y mo relay sa information gikan sa TC director. So, nga na. So, daanay centralized na ang relay of information. Next is to foster the feeling of empowerment and self-sufficiency among residents, to improve the line of communication between personnel and residents, to promote a self-sufficient TC utilizing the residents who possess a variety of skills. So there is already a chain of command. Okay? So muna na siyang natin gitawag og hierarchical structure. We have indicators, orderly and peaceful community. Of course, if you are inside an organizational hierarchy, tungod kay informations are channeled from top to the bottom. So muna na nga we have orderly and peaceful community. So self-reliance, value of work evident through punctuality and patience, jobs completed on time with proper supervision, harmonious interpersonal relationship and respect for hierarchy, and there is a pride in quality. Next, so who are the participants in the hierarchical therapeutic or organizational hierarchy of the therapeutic community? So who are the participants? We have the personnel and the residents. Personnel, those are the BGMP personnel, the residents are the PDL. So procedure, the senior member of the staff, usually the director, identifies the counselors coming from the staff or personnel. So the senior member of the staff, usually the director. The director is your warden. The TC director is usually occupied by the warden because siya may in charge sa jail. So he identifies the counselor. So kanang counselor, he is also a BGMP personnel, not necessarily nga siya psychometrician, not necessarily nga siya psychologist, but he is a BGMP personnel identified as a counselor to supervise the different departments inside the facility. Okay? So as soon as the counselors were identified, the residents of the community will submit application for certain desired positions as indicated at the hierarchical structure. So the applicants will be interviewed by the staff, like that includes the director, the IWDO or the inmates welfare and development officer, the chief escort, and the custodial. Next, we have after the interview, selection of applicant for key positions, whether it is a coordinator and a department head, is done through the use of sociometric pointing. So crew members will be assigned as per assessment of the IWDO, the chief escort, and the custodial. So the new residents will be assigned automatically at the housekeeping department for 1 month for orientation purposes. So in an hierarchical structure, we have the TC director as the highest command. So, diba? So we have the assistant TC director or assistant TC director. We have muna na ang assistant jail warden, for example. Or kana mo na siya si jail senior inspector or no jail senior officer 4 nga na for example so siya kintahay ang assistant director or siya mo'y assistant warden. So after the TC director identify who is the counselor of each department, so once nga ma-identify na siya, mo open na ang application for the key positions. It's either with the coordinator and the department head. Okay? So, if naanay mga apply, i-evaluate na siya, i-assess whether credible ba kanang tawhana nga mo-hold sa key position. And if that was already evaluated by the director and by the inmates welfare and development officer. So kani si inmates welfare and development officer, mo ni siya ang gitawag na tuog social worker. The chief escort and custodial, after the personnel already or after announce who will be the or kinsay nakapasar nga applicant in holding key positions such as coordinator and department head. So muna na siya nga once it was done announcing or once the announcement is done, muna nang nananay crew members nga i-assign as per assessment of the IWDO, the chief escort, and the custodial. So, diba? New residents will be assigned automatically at the housekeeping department for 1 month for orientation purposes. We cannot deny the fact that there are persons nga makumit gid siya sa jail facility. So, di magyud na siya mawa. Naman gyud mapriso, na gawas, na mapriso. So, nga naman na siya. Mura na siya cycle. Diba? So, every time that there is a new resident committed in the jail facility, automatic adto na siya sa pinaka-lowest nga rank, which is the housekeeping department. It's either adto ba siya maghugas or mutabang-tabang sa kusina, ingana. So, adto siya ibutang as for 1 month as an orientation purposes. So, muna na siya nga magkasaka na imuhang ranggo. Magdepende po na siya kung sa imong performance, sa imong kadugayon, whether wala ba kay na-commit, dili ba kabadlungon during your stay, ingana. So, ingana ang procedure in the organizational TCMP hierarchical structure. So, this is an example of a TCMP hierarchy structure. So, muna na siya si staff, special services, laundry department, kitchen department. So, we have the coordinator, the department head. So, muna na ang mga crew, mga ubos-ubos nga ranggo. So, for example, muna na siya. Diba? We have the TC director as the chief officer. So, siya ang warden. So, muna na siya gi-assign siya og crew. So, kaning staff, those are the counselors identified by the TC director. So we have the different departments depending on the jail population of a certain facility. Like for example, kanang gitawag na tuog Manila City Jail. They are already 1,000 up. So makita na to didto nga mura na silag salmon didto bitaw gisod sa lata. Magtindog na lang if ever matog, di ba? So muna na so these are the different departments sa magdepende na siya sa isa ka TC community. The jail population ay determine na siya kung unsa ang mga possibly nga ma-divide nga mga departments. So kaning business office department, we have the admin, we have the kitchen department, we have the food service officer, housekeeping department, they are the records personnel, grounds landscaping department, it's either they are the custodial officers, laundry department, sila tong mga mo determine sa mga logistics, maintenance department, we have the operations, the special service department, we have the IWDO, and the expediting department, sila tong mga paralegal officers. Okay, so this admin, food service officer, records, custodial, logistics, operations, IWDO, paralegal. So they are BGMP personnel or they are assigned in a certain department to help oversee the TC community. So that is class A with a jail population of 1,000 above. So diri gihapon magdepende gihapon ang jail population kung pila ka department ang angay to oversee the TC implementation. Next, we have class B. So this or makita ninyo ang hierarchical structure na sa TCMP manual nga akong gisend na didto by kuanto siya by letter like figure A, so mo ni ang forma, figure B or class B, so mo ni si figure 2. Class C, this is figure C. So makita na siya didto. Next, we have class B with a jail population between 900 to 999. So mora ni ang mga departments nga naa nila, not or unlike sa Class A with a jail population of 1,000 above, so niabot og 8 ka department. So there is sa Class B, unom ra siya ka department. So mura na siya gitapo ba, gisum up lang isa ka department kay murag relative laman ang ilahang ah, positions or kanabang ilahang trabaho. Like for example, aning business office department, admin, we have the kitchen department, we have the food service officer, the housekeeping, this is the laundry department, sila to mga records, grounds, landscaping, maintenance department, we have the custodial, special service department, we have the IWDO, the expediting department, so they are the paralegal. So those are uh, the Class B with a jail population of 500 to 999. So this Class C with a jail population of 1 to less than 500 or 499. So, di ba, upat ra ka department ang ilahang kailangan. So, the business office department, they are the admin. The kitchen department, we have the food service specialist. Sila tong in charge sa mga pagkaon. We have the housekeeping or laundry department. So, sila gihapon ang IWDO mo function ana. The expediting department, so sila gihapon paralegal. So the set of the hierarchical structure depends upon the needs of the facility. So it depends on the needs of the facility. If the facility has the population o ingani kadaghan, so magkadaghan ang needs. So the hierarchical structure depends upon the needs of the facility that affects or more siyag ma-move ba if ever magkadaghan ang population. Magkadaghan ang population sa isa ka jail, magkadaghan man ang needs sa facility. So mao na nga divide na pud sila og or mag-add sila og department to oversee the TC community. Okay? Next, what are the different job functions? Muna ni ang mga trabahoon. Objectives, to develop the right attitude of the residents towards work. Of course, if we are working, we have to develop the right attitude. Natay gitawag og kanang willingness. We are inspired to do our work. Ingana. To enhance the capability of the residents in their day-to-day tasks with utmost pride. So what are the indicators? We have developed self-worth and sense of responsibility, initiative, creativity, ingenuity, pride, and quality. So who are the participants? They are the residents that is performing different job functions. Duration or frequency, we have all year round based on jail schedule. So magdepende na siya kung if ever mag-change ba, ay nga na. So that is all year round based on jail schedule. Procedure, we have the departmental meeting is conducted weekly for assignment of tasks which will last for 1 week in rotation basis within the department. Each team will be assigned one expeditor to monitor the job function. Job rotation will be primarily based on the progress, performance, and capability of each resident. The promotion or demotion can happen during the process. So, muna na ang procedure sa job function. So, they will assign one expeditor to monitor if such resident is performing his job function. So, what are the different functions of the different positions in the hierarchy? That is from highest to lowest. So, these are now the key positions that is handled by the residents in the hierarchy. Okay? So, number 1, we have the coordinator. He is a positive role model. So, this key positions mo nang ilahang gi-applyan. Akong giingon ganiha that they will apply o niya i-test na siya, i-evaluate, i-validate na siya if he is credible to become a coordinator. Yan na. So, deals with the attitude of the residents and acts as a member of the panel during the haircut and addresses the resident in general meeting. So, I know you are familiar with haircut. So, he will act as a member of the panel in addressing a haircut of a certain resident nga naka-obey sa rule or naka-disobey sa rules. So, next, the leader of a team assigned to oversee a specific department, like for example, the kitchen department. Siya maoy next in position ni counselor. Di ba? Gi-assign na naman of different counselors for each department. So siya mo next in position ni counselor. So we have responsible for reporting of job changes and recommends cutting off learning experience. I know you are familiar with learning experience. Those residents who committed infractions nga murag balik-balik na siya. So kung unsa tong iyang dili niya makuha nga function sa most adto ang imong ipa-learning experience niya. Diba? So learning experience is part of the behavior shaping tools under the behavioral management. So assigned as coordinator on duty of the day and delegates tasks to be covered for the day, like for example, investigating and booking. Encourages residents to use behavior shaping tools like encounter slips or booking and etc. Responsible for overseeing that each team works efficiently, supervises the overall functions of the department in the TC facility, reports to staff any incident that is not in the boundaries of a resident to deal with, carries out any given task that staff members assigned him or her in charge to disseminate instructions given by the director and staff through coordination with co-coordinators. He serves as a liaison officer between the resident and staff. So that is the function of the coordinator. So he will be chosen as the coordinator of the day. Next, we have the coordinator on duty. So he is not part of the whole hierarchical structure. Each coordinator take turns to become coordinator of the day. So each coordinator take turns to become a coordinator of the day. So wag po natin gitawag og ikaw Juan karon kang adlaw ikaw may coordinate, ikaw under ka sa or you are part of the hierarchical structure, you're a coordinator. So pero kaning Lunes si Juan sa, ikaw Martes si Pedro na pod. So mo na ang mga coordinator on or coordinator on duty. So he or she is designed as coordinator of the day to conduct inspection in cells, kitchen and other areas where residents are allowed together with the staff on the duty and the chief expeditor. Delegates tasks to other coordinators. Under direct communication with the chief expeditor, must always be aware and records all the events, incidences of the day to the logbook, must have a direct link with staff on duty, responsible to disseminate information coming from the staff or director, evaluates or validate different incidences and seeks staff's acknowledgement. So, muna ang trabaho ni coordinator on duty. So he is tasked to delegate tasks to different or to other coordinators. Okay? So that is coordinator on duty. Next, we have chief expeditor. He is responsible for managing the daily function and activities of the community, delegates other responsibilities to an assistant chief expeditor and monitors every activity, oversees the schedule of the day, communicates with department heads in execution of job functions, communicates with coordinator of the day on an hourly basis. So they are the chief expeditor and the coordinator of the day. So sila tong check whether a certain crew member is performing his job, function or not. Nga na. So sila po mo or ilan ang i-record, ilan ang ibutang sa ilahang logbook. Okay? Next, we have the assistant chief expeditor, responsible for execution of directives from the chief expeditor, supervises the activity inside the dormitories, monitors overall function of the different department and reports to the chief all the incidences, facilitates department head meetings in the absence of the chief expeditor, job changes and requests. Like for example, request for phone calls. So muna ang trabaho ni assistant chief expeditor. Next, we have the department head. He conducts departmental meetings before job function. So he conducts departmental meetings before job function, delegates specific tasks to team members and monitors individual conduct, monitors participation of members to activities of the program like morning meetings, seminars, and group session, checks attendance and whereabouts of team members, attends department heads pre-evaluation meeting regarding job change, recommends, grants, or denies team members' in-house requests in the department head meeting. So he conducts post-evaluation to residents regarding the result of the request and screens team members request. So that is the function, the job function of the department head. Next, we have the department crew responsible for carrying out tasks, duties, and responsibilities of their concerned department. So, as a certain department must only oversee the department where he is assigned. Unlike sa kanang gitawag na tuog coordinator o kanang chief expeditor. So, we have if you are only assigned in a, for example, a kitchen department, so ana pud ka mo oversee sa imuhang uh, department as well as with the department crew. You are responsible for carrying out tasks, duties, and responsibilities of your concerned departments. So what are the different TCMP departments and functions? So unsay ko yung mga functions with the different departments of the TCMP. So first department, we have the business office department. So he welcomes new members of the family and makes sure that policies, rules, and their limitations are clear. So he is also responsible in facilitating younger members group by sharing experiences. He should be a role model that shows how to overcome trying circumstances like coping or adjustment. Orients new residents how to drop sleeps, ventilate feelings in the encounter group, use the behavior shaping tools, and internalize the TC philosophy and unwritten philosophies. He also provides support to residents when needed. He prepares sequence of program for special events and disseminates all written communication. He maintains and updates bulletin board postages and announcement. He updates profile of residents, name, address, age, status, birth date, ethnic origin, and etc. And provides list of residents in the tag board to be posted in every dormitory, and he prepares sound system in every activity. So that is the function of the business of office department. So again, there is also a department crews that is assigned to perform the job function of a certain department. So in the business office department, so mo ni ang iyang functions and responsibilities. Next, we have the expediting team. He oversees the day-to-day affairs of the different departments, reports any incident in the TC facility and the overall attitude of the community. He is in charge of the attendance of the residents in groups, seminars, static, and specialized groups. We have to confront attitudes around the house and make necessary steps to address them through booking, coordinates with staff regarding announcement, activities, medications, and court hearings for proper information dissemination. He coordinates with coordinator on duty and medical staff in attending to sick residents, prepare designated room assignments upon admission of new residents like he is or they are going or they are in charge to assign a new member for a big brother or big sister, and he oversees activities of residents in the learning experience structure. So this is the department under the expediting team, lahi po tong sa business office department. Next, we have the kitchen department. So what are their functions? Prepares and cooks food for daily consumption, maintains quality of food and dietary requirements of every menu, preserves sanitary working environment and maintains kitchen equipment properly, manages quantity of food servings to minimize wastage, prepares menu for special requirements and occasions, serves meal on time, ensures proper storage of food items to avoid spoilage and contamination, conducts regular health screening of kitchen workers, and lastly is to maintain proper washing of dishes and kitchen utensils and proper disposal of waste materials. So these are the functions of the kitchen crews assigned in the kitchen department. So who are going to perform? They are the residents under a certain department. Next, we have maintenance and landscaping department. He maintains cleanliness of grounds, responsible in planting, watering, and trimming of plants, trees, and flower beds, maintains inventory of materials and equipment, informs staff of any equipment that needs repair or replacement, responsible in making minor repairs of jail facilities and equipment, responsible in monitoring proper usage of water and electricity. So any functions that a maintenance and landscaping department, like for example, mangguna, manilhig, nga na. So maintenance, like for example, na ay mga reparunon, so sila nga department ang in charge ana. So there are also crews that are assigned in a certain department. Next, we have the housekeeping department. He maintains the cleanliness of the cell area, mess hall, visitation area, and the visitors' comfort room. Maintains inventory of housekeeping materials such as brooms, dustpans, rugs, floor, etc. Floor wax, and etc. Provides proper storage of housekeeping materials. So, a new resident committed in a jail facility, so he is already or he will be assigned for 1 month under the housekeeping department as a form of orientation purposes. Next, we have the laundry department. He assigns and schedules laundry time for every dorm. So designates and maintains hanging area for washed clothing, collects the dried washed clothing and distributes to the respective dorms. So kaning laundry department, the crews are not the one nga mulabas sa tibuok sanina sa mga PDL, but they are going to assign schedules kung kanus-a pwede manglaba ang every dorm. And they also designates and maintain hanging area for washed clothing. And if mauga na siya, sila na ang mo-distribute sa kada dorm kung kang kinsa ni nga sanina or dried washed clothing. So after after knowing the different functions of the different department under the hierarchy, we now go with the staff function. Kinsa naman ning staff mo na ni ang mga silbi taas-taas sa hierarchy. So the topmost members of the hierarchy, so the director is the warden of the facility. So he oversees all the activities in the program. He designates staff to serve as counselors. He makes final decision as to what sanctions or learning experiences will be meted out to erring residents. So siya gihapon ang naay final say sa tanan. For example, katong pinaka taas nga or pinaka grabe nga behavior shaping tool, di ba naato katong gitawag na to og expulsion. So apil gihapon ang director nga mutan-aw whether that person is unsa nga sanction ang angay niya nga i-impose. Okay, next we have the assistant director that is occupied by the assistant warden. He takes over the responsibilities in the absence of the director. He reports directly to the director and assists him in the conduct of the latter's responsibilities. So we have the counselor. A staff is assigned as a counselor for each department. The jail setup is unique as the counselors take on other responsibilities in addition. So the counselor's role is to bolster and enhance the community as a primary change agent and build the community to function around the established hierarchy. So those again, staff function are those BGMP personnel who are assigned in different departments. So mo na ni kaning counselor, mo na ni ang mga members or mga BGMP personnel that is assigned to every department. Now, let's go with how will the job changes how will the job function of a facility changes. So this kind of job change will be done regularly every 6 months. So every 6 months, there will be a job change. So, muratang gitawag na to og job rotation. O dili po rotation, kay rotation is within its members. But when you say job change, that is all TC implementing jails when every 6 months the participants, TC, and staff residents. So this will be done by the TCMP director by calling all the staff or counselors in order to facilitate the procedural change of positions handled by the department heads and coordinators. Once the meeting is done, the coordinators will now apply for the positions as to where they want to be assigned. That will be evaluated by the staff before giving them their new assignments. After each assignment is identified, the director of the IWDO or the Inmates Welfare and Development Officer will then announce to the community the new assignments and positions the applicants are holding. So these are the possible interventions. So the applicant will apply. So they conducted series of interview. They are pre-evaluated, discussion post, evaluation, and lastly is the announcement. So what are the possible objectives? To assess and determine who is the best person capable to handle the position among the applicants, to create opportunities and experience various job positions for everyone in the TC facility. So the members of the TC facility is encouraged to handle or encourage a job change para pod maka-experience ang tanan unsay trabaho sa laundry department, unsay trabaho sa maintenance department, sa kitchen department, sa uh, any other or and etc. So they are para pod makasuway sila. There is an experience various job positions. So what are the expected results? Harmonious relationship among the residents assigned to their new position, personal growth and development in his attitude towards work and job function. So method or procedure, the director will call for a staff meeting, for a job rotation or job change. The residents will apply for their desired position and undergo interview with responsible persons. After post-evaluation, the Inmates Welfare and Development in charge announces the selected applicants on the respective positions. So duration, this is done every 6 months. So who are the responsible person? We have the IWDO officer of the day, custodial staff, and the disciplinary board. So, muna na ang if ever there is a job change. So, ingani ang procedure nga buhaton. Okay? Next, we have there is a job change when a certain key position that is gigunitan sa isa ka member o isa ka resident if ever he committed an infraction or he violated especially the cardinal rules. So as a sudden change of position and responsibility will occur if a certain resident holding key positions commits infractions such as violation of cardinal rules. Such infraction has been verified and investigated by the responsible inmates, and such investigation report has reached the staff. It is assumed that the members of the disciplinary board have already sanctioned the resident, after which he will be ousted of his present position and promotion and demotion will take effect. So, what are the interventions? So, that is validated by the inmate conduct investigation. So, it was conduct investigation by the disciplinary board, removal from the present position, and the promotion of deserving residents. So what are the objectives of a possible job change? Realization of the resident that the offense committed brought demotion and value, the need of improvement of behavior and attitude. So we have expected results, the increased level of awareness that upon commission of an offense or infraction will receive corresponding sanction. We have methods and procedures. We have the selection of qualified resident to the vacated position, duration as the need arises, so responsible person, the IWDO officer of the day, custodial staff, and disciplinary board. So this job change will occur if a certain holder of a key position has committed infraction or offense, especially the violation of cardinal rules. Diba? Ang cardinal rules, for example, no smoking, no sexual contact with other ingana, no drugs, ingana. So those are if a certain key holder of a certain key position, nakakommit siya og infraction, unya it was already validated, investigation was already conducted, unya na found out kay nga nakakommit siya. So he possibly will be removed in his present position, and tendency is demote siya. So mabalik siya sa lower or sa ubos-ubos nga rank. Like for example, adto siya sa housekeeping department. So if there ang musunod nga or so 'di ba once nga mag-change na so open na ang vacated position. So muna pod nga na po'y applicant nga musod. 'Di ba? Mga apply na pod na po'y applicant nga mga apply. So if he is credible after evaluation, after assessment, then he will become a holder or he will vacate the vacant position. So this job change is only uh, performed or that is only again performed if the need arises. So another job change is when there is a vacated position when a certain key holder or a certain holder of a key position is vacated for release. So bale if kanang tawhana makuha na siya kanang munggawas na or integrated back to the society. So the release of a resident, particularly the one who occupies a key position, will open a vacancy. The vacated position will be filed or will be filled up by either succession, depending on his or her qualification. The director, IWDO, chief escort, or custodial may conduct interview and selection of the applicants vying for the position and will announce later who qualifies for the vacant position. So never allow the residents to do the selection and interview without the supervision of any staff. So these are the possible interventions. So maghapon the same. And the objective is to assess and determine who is the best person capable to handle the position among the applicants. Expected result, harmonious relationship among the residents assigned to their new position, personal growth and development in his attitude towards work and function. So the duration, this is only done upon release of the resident holding key position. So responsible person, maorag hapon. So there is a job change once there is a vacated position because a certain holder of a key position is scheduled for release. So open na pod ang kana nga position. So mo gyapon mag-assessment gihapon whether that certain person is qualified depending on his qualifications or depending sa kanang criteria. So those are the different job changes in their job function in the TCMP hierarchical structure. Next, now let's go with the livelihood and skills training. So, unsa man po ning mga livelihood and skills training? So, objectives to motivate the participation of the residents in the livelihood and skills training in preparation for integration to the mainstream of society. So, this livelihood and skills training encourages or motivates a person to join or to participate in a certain livelihood and skills training that is also to prepare the person to become independent or to become a productive citizen when they are reintegrated back to the mainstream of society. Second is to cultivate and enhance capacity to become productive and improve self-worth. So what are the indicators? They are self-reliant, resourceful, and creative individuals. And lastly, they will generate incomes. Of course, if that person has already, like for example, he is or kanang nag livelihood or nag skills training siya in making Christmas decor. And if like for example si Mayor Babayap mo contract siya sa BGMP or sa kanang Bohol District Jail nga mo order siya og like for example 50 ka parol, di ba? Ang kanang kita adto sa naghimo og parol that will be deposited in a kanang gitawag na to og account of a kanang resident. So kanang kada resident na siya gitawag og kanang account nga like for example naa siya mga income nga mosulod tungod kay nahalin ang iyang produkto. Kay for example naghimo siya og figurine. So naday gibutang nidto nga i-account mo po na siya. Pilay na halin ni Pedro. Mo niya ang halin. So, if that resident or if that PDL will be reintegrated back to the society, at least naa na siya iyaha nga, kwarta nga, mabitbit. Makuha na siya nimo once nga magawas na ka sa jail. So, silbi ba nga, gatigom na ka. That is why they motivate the PDL to participate in the livelihood and skills training. So what are the design tools? Project proposals, training design, and feasibility studies. So who are the participants? It's the resident and the staff. So the procedure, the IWDO will conduct skills inventory of the residents to determine the appropriate skills or training needed. So with the help of skilled staff or outsourced trainers, residents are trained on their specific field of interest, which could be the source of livelihood once they are released from jail. So these are the list of suggested vocational skills training. For example, we have culinary arts. So they are trained cooking and baking for a 3-month period of study. So with 1 month on the job training. Requirements, the length of stay in the facility, that they have already stayed in the facility for 5 months and with good health. So who are the support group? It's either the TESDA or the ALS or a non-government organization and the IWDO. Next, we have basic steel fabrication or kanang welding. So, mag-train gyapon. Like for example, ang TESDA, mo-train, mo-tap sila sa BGMP or ang BGMP mo-tap sa TESDA nga manginahanglan sila og trainers for a certain skills training inside the facility. We have beads making enhancement, kanang maghimo o kanang beads bitaw like kanang mga like kanang sa mga especially natay mga especially sa ato nga tourist province ta. So na may mga beads nga muhatag if ever naay moabot nga mga turista or naay mga delegates, so mo na siya appeal gyapon na siya as a livelihood and skills training. Training on beads enhancement and support group will be any service provider, whether it's under the government or any non-government organization. So these are also other suggested vocational skills training. We have rug making, wood carving, flower making, massage therapy, artistry, basic electricity, automotive, masonry and carpentry, tailoring and dressmaking, furniture, lantern and Christmas decor making, t-shirt printing, basket weaving, shell craft, guitar making, and organic farming. So these are the suggested vocational skills training that will be undergone or if ever ganahan ang PDLs nga mo participate ani to open gihap or these are the suggested nga mga vocational skills training nga pwede nila apilan. So the schedule, so these are the schedule of daily activities of in the jail or in a facility. So 5 to 6 a.m. that is their wake up time or kanang and this is their job function. Like asa sila? Manilhig ba sila or na-assign ba sila sa laundry? Na-assign ba sila sa maintenance department? Manilhig, mangguna, ingana. So that is under 5 to 6 a.m. So 6 to 6:45 a.m. muna ng morning exercises. So they are also encouraged to participate in daily exercises. Muna lang na daily dozen. 6:45 to 7:45, that is their breakfast and wash up. So muna ng time nga maligo, breakfast. 8 to 9 a.m. muna ni or 7:45 to 8 a.m. that is 15 minutes for the pre-morning meeting. Ang mostly aning pre-morning meeting sa atong discussion, those are the senior members of the TC community. 8 to 9 a.m. that is already morning meeting. 1 hour before the start of their day. So, muna nang naay morning meeting. So, 9 to 11:30 a.m. na ng ALS or kanang mga eskwela sila every Monday to Tuesday. Bible study by group, phone call privileges, Holy Mass as scheduled. So, 11:30 to 12:30 muna na ang lunch. 12:30 to 1 p.m. So they are given their personal time for 30 minutes. 1 to 5 p.m. that is visiting privileges. So every Monday, there is no visiting privileges because it is intended for general cleaning. 5 to 5:30 p.m. that is inmates counting job function. So whether uh, the resident is performing their job function, departmental meeting, static group meeting. So 5:30 to 6 p.m. Sila gitawag og aerobics or dancing. 6 to 6:30 p.m. Holy Rosary or Bible reading. 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. dinner or cleaning up. So, mga na siya, dinner nila between 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. So, 7:30 to 8 p.m., this is spiritual enhancement. 8 to 9 p.m., so kitagaan sila og opportunity for TV viewing. 9 p.m., 9 p.m. should be lights off or top. So, ideally, this is the schedule of daily activities inside a jail facility. Pero if of sa in reality, so besin siguro nga mo mulapas gamay ang mga oras, but this is the ideal schedule of a PDL in his day-to-day activity. So that ends our discussion on the TCMP program manual of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. So again, the TCMP program is divided into four major components or four major aspects. So these are the first, we have the behavioral management. Mo na to katong the behavior shaping tools. They are using behavioral shaping tools to help shape the individual's attitudes and character. And ingana, we have the second aspect is we have their psychological and emotional aspect. Third, we have their intellectual and spiritual component. And lastly is the vocational or survival skills training. So these four aspects have different responsibilities in help shaping the behavior and attitude of a certain or a resident or in every resident. So, dili na siya ingon nga pareha. But they have the same goal to prepare the person to be or to prepare a PDL to be physically, mentally, spiritually, unsa pang aspects that when the offender or when the PDL or when the inmate is reintegrated back to the mainstream of the society, so they are ready, they are productive citizen, they are an independent citizen as well as they or stigma will be break or ma-break ang stigma that ex-convicts are idle, walay nabuhat. So this is a form of rehabilitative program done by the BGMP. So know that this TCMP program manual is centralized and that is performed by all the implementing jails who is following a TC community in all of the BGMP jails nationwide. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening and I hope to see you on our next discussion.